You know, they don't call me the smart cookie cook for nothing. I know a thing or two about what to do in the kitchen, and I'm going to share those tips with you today, so you can be a smart cookie in the kitchen too. Smart cookies always use parchment paper. This is your best friend. I can't tell you how many cakes and cookies I have lost to unyielding pans and baking trays. It is the worst thing to be this close to having the perfect culinary confection and then you leave half of it behind in the tray and it's ruined. So you want to avoid that? Line your sheets with parchment paper. It's going to change your life. Now, if you have something abnormally shaped that you need to line with parchment paper, I got a quick and easy smart cookie tip for how to do that. So I got my pan here. It's round, which is a little bit of a problem because the parchment paper comes out in a rectangular shape. That's okay though. I set my parchment paper on top of a cutting board, and then we take our cake pan, set it down, grab ourselves a nice sharp knife, not a butter knife, something with a good tip. I'm going to hold the pan in place and trace around it in a circle. Okay. Then I'm going to very carefully peel off the edges. I'm going to have the perfectly shaped piece of parchment paper to go inside your pan. One major thing that I've learned is how helpful it is to clean up as you go. Sometimes I get so caught up in cooking that I'm just like, I don't care about the mess, I'm going to leave it till later. And then by the time that I'm done cooking, it looks like a tornado ripped through the kitchen. So one of the best things you can do is after you complete a step, put some stuff away and then proceed. For example, you're baking a cake, you just finished the cake. Well, let's put the ingredients away now while the cake is baking, and then we can start making the frosting. That way, we don't have tons of stuff accumulating on our very limited counter space, and we aren't going to be overwhelmed in the end when we have to clean up. I don't even know where to start. You know what else smart cookies do in the kitchen? They always check to make sure that they have all the ingredients they need for a recipe before they start cooking. And I'm talking about even the really basic things that you think you have, because you're looking at the recipe for really obscure things that you don't normally have in your house, and you're like, oh, I gotta go to the grocery store and get that. But you don't look at things like eggs, because you're like, oh, I always have eggs. And then you're in the middle of the recipe and realize you have like 1 egg and you need like 4. Kind of problem, so you gotta run out to the store. So even if you think you have it, always double check. Okay, and then 4 eggs. 1, 2, oh crap. Smart cookies know how to get creative in the kitchen. That means if things aren't always working out, we can find a way to make them work. Or if we need a solution to a problem, we can find that solution. And that doesn't mean that you have to be like super duper intelligent. It just means using your imagination. So for example, I got this leftover mascarpone cheese in my fridge. I had it from this amazing mac and cheese that I made last week. So good. But now I'm like, okay, what the heck do I do with this? Because mascarpone isn't in every recipe. So I do this. I look in my fridge, I look in my pantry and see what other ingredients I have. And I ask myself, what can I make with all this? So I know I got strawberries in the fridge. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to whip up some heavy cream, fold in the mascarpone, which is going to make it really rich and delicious. And of course I'll add some powdered sugar for sweetening. Serve that with the strawberries and it's a really light and fresh, easy summer dish. And see, that's not something super complicated. It's just a really easy solution to how to use the rest of this. Or if I'm willing to go to the store, I can get the ingredients to make tiramisu, which is one of my sister's favorite desserts. And I'm not going to lie, it's one of mine too. There's plenty of things to do with leftover ingredients if you just put your mind to it. And if you're really stuck, there's plenty of websites on the internet that you can actually search a certain ingredient and it'll give you recipes that use that ingredient. So another example. A couple weeks ago I made some delicious parfaits. And I made them ahead of time, and then I realized, well, I need to store them in the fridge. I'm really weird about storing something in the fridge without covering it, but how do you cover a parfait when it has this mound of beautiful whipped cream that you don't want to mess up? So, say this is my parfait glass, and I had all this delicious topping on top, and I wasn't going to just stick cling wrap over that and squish it down. So I took another smaller cup, set it right on top, stuck it in the fridge, and voila, it was perfectly covered, and my whipped cream was totally dent-free. Being creative also comes in handy when you have the never-ending question in your head, what's for dinner? You look into your pantry and you're just like, there's nothing in here, I have no ideas. But what you have to learn to do is to look at certain ingredients and learn how to put them together. So what I would typically do is I'd be staring into the depths of this pantry and I would see, okay, we got some artichoke hearts. Not something I use all the time, it might be a nice refreshing change. And then I take another look in and I would see, okay, there's also a jar of marinara sauce. We could do something with this. We could make a nice pasta bake, because of course I have, you guys probably can't see, but tons of boxes of pasta. So what we could do is we take the marinara sauce, we might add a nice homemade touch with some of the fresh garlic that's in my fridge, and maybe some diced onions too, saute that up good. We'll put that in with some nice pasta that's already been cooked, put it into a baking dish with those artichoke hearts mixed in, and then we'll top it with some mozzarella cheese, bake it, and we have a super delicious, simple dinner that we threw together with stuff that was already in our kitchen. Hi! He's good, Daddy. So as you can see, being a smart cookie in the kitchen is not as hard as you would think. It's all about using that smart cookie head of yours. And for tips like this and more, you should always make sure to stop by my website, thesmartcookiecook.com, because I am always dishing this stuff out for you. And you can be sure that if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you will see plenty more of these videos. You will see plenty more of these videos on how to be a smart cookie in the kitchen. So if you find yourself facing challenges in the kitchen, just ask yourself this: what would a smart cookie do?